Imagine a world where the familiar tapestry of green that cloaks our planet, from the emerald canopies of the Amazon to the boreal forests of the north, has vanished. This isn't the setting for a dystopian novel, but a stark possibility if deforestation continues unchecked. The consequences of such a transformation would be devastating, leading to sweeping ecological collapse and dramatic shifts in our planet's geography, climate, and the very fabric of human civilization. Let's explore how such a map, stripped bare of its verdant forests, might look, revealing the unsettling reality of a world without trees. Where, once the Amazon basin pulsed with life, a sea of green stretching across the South American continent, we would find a parched savanna, a landscape scarred by drought. The vibrant biodiversity, a symphony of life unique to this region, would be reduced to a muted echo. The Congo Basin, another jewel of biodiversity, would suffer a similar fate, its lush rainforests replaced by arid scrublands. Across the globe, the emerald tapestry of Southeast Asian jungles would fade, leaving behind a patchwork of dry, fire-prone landscapes. The Northern Hemisphere wouldn't be spared either. The boreal forests, a vast green belt spanning Canada, Siberia, and Scandinavia, would shrink as permafrost melts, replaced by tundra or grasslands, their once dependable carbon sink capacity severely diminished. Without the vital role forests play in regulating rainfall and temperature, the world's deserts, already formidable landscapes of extremes, would tighten their grip on the planet. The Sahara, the Gobi, the Kalahari, the Australian outback, all would expand, their boundaries blurring as they swallow up neighboring regions, growing by an alarming 30 to 50%. Imagine the Sahara, a sea of sand stretching its fingers northward, encroaching into southern Europe, merging with the Sahel, and creating a formidable barrier across the African continent. The very air would become drier, hotter, and less hospitable, the consequences of unchecked deforestation echoing across the globe. The coastlines, the delicate meeting point of land and sea, would become increasingly vulnerable. Mangrove forests, those vital nurseries of marine life and protectors against erosion, would disappear, leaving shorelines exposed to the relentless battering of waves. Imagine the Sundarbans, the world's largest mangrove forest, reduced to a fraction of its former size, its protective embrace gone. Deltas, those fertile cradles of civilization, would shrink as sediment washes away, no longer held in place by the intricate root systems of coastal forests. The Amazon Delta, the Mekong Delta, their very existence would be threatened. Low-lying cities like Miami, Jakarta, and Mumbai, once protected by nature's buffers, would face a dire choice: drown beneath rising sea levels or retreat behind massive, costly sea walls, their futures precarious and uncertain. The lifeblood of our planet, its rivers and lakes, would dwindle and disappear. The mighty Amazon, a river so grand it can be seen from space, would be reduced to a series of muddy trickles, its seasonal flow disrupted, its ability to support life severely compromised. Major rivers like the Colorado, the Nile, the Yangtze lifelines for countless communities might run dry long before reaching the sea, their waters diverted and depleted, leaving behind parched riverbeds and desperation. Lakes, once shimmering jewels reflecting the sky, would shrink into insignificance, their waters evaporating under a hotter sun. The Caspian Sea, Lake Victoria, Lake Chad, their names would evoke memories of a time when water flowed freely. The fate of the Aral Sea, once a thriving ecosystem, now a stark reminder of human mismanagement, could foreshadow the fate of many others. The bread baskets of the world, the fertile lands that nourish billions, would be thrown into disarray. The American Midwest, Brazil's Cerrado, Southeast Asia's rice paddies, all would face dramatic declines in productivity without the rain-bearing winds generated by vast forests. The very air, once laden with moisture, would become dry, the land parched and cracked. Agriculture would be forced to adapt, pushing northwards into Canada, Siberia, and even the southern tip of South America, Patagonia. But these new frontiers would come with their own challenges: thin soils, shorter growing seasons, and the unpredictable nature of a changing climate, making food security a constant concern. Megacities already struggling with overcrowding and pollution would face a new existential threat: extreme water shortages. Sao Paulo, Mexico City, Delhi, cities that rely on the delicate balance of rainfall and forest-fed rivers would find themselves on the brink. Desalination plants, costly and energy-intensive, might become a lifeline, while others might resort to massive pipelines, diverting water from distant sources, creating new geopolitical tensions. The movement of people, driven by climate change and resource scarcity, would reshape the political landscape. Wealthy nations like Canada and Scandinavia, with their relatively intact ecosystems, might see an influx of climate refugees, leading to tighter borders, stricter immigration policies, and a world increasingly divided along lines of have and have-nots. The potential for conflict would be high. Resource wars, once the stuff of dystopian fiction, could become a terrifying reality, particularly in regions already grappling with water stress like the Nile Basin or the thawing Arctic, where melting ice opens up new shipping routes and access to resources, sparking international disputes. The very air we breathe, once replenished by vast forests, would be altered. Oxygen levels, while not immediately life-threatening, would drop, particularly in regions once covered by dense forests like the Amazon and the Congo. The delicate balance of gases in the atmosphere would be disrupted, further accelerating climate change. The oceans, those vast blue expanses that cover most of our planet, would also bear the scars of deforestation. Without the forests to filter pollutants and regulate nutrient flow, dead zones devoid of life would spread like a disease across the oceans. Coral reefs, already struggling from warming waters and acidification, would bleach and die, their vibrant colors replaced by a ghostly white. Fisheries would collapse as marine ecosystems unravel, leaving behind a barren and silent underwater world. Our map, once a tapestry of green, would be crisscrossed with arrows, symbols of mass human migration. From Africa, South Asia and South America, the arrows would point northwards towards higher latitudes, tracing the desperate search for more habitable lands, for food and water security. Some arrows might lead to futuristic biodome enclaves, perhaps in Greenland or Antarctica, representing humanity's attempt to engineer its survival in a world ravaged by its own actions. These biodomes, oases of artificial life support, would be a stark reminder of what we lost and the lengths we must go to recreate it. Yet other areas of our map would remain stubbornly resistant to change. Perpetual ash belts would scar regions like California and Australia, a testament to the increased frequency and intensity of wildfires fueled by a hotter, drier climate. These blackened scars would serve as a constant reminder of the delicate balance we disrupted and the long road to recovery. This map, stripped bare of its once lush forests, tells a story of loss, a cautionary tale of what our planet could become if we fail to protect its irreplaceable ecosystems. The world without forests is not a world we want to bequeath to future generations, but the power to change course lies within our grasp. The future of our planet, the future of our children and grandchildren, depends on the actions we take today. By preserving existing forests, restoring degraded lands and embracing sustainable practices, we can rewrite this narrative, ensuring that the map of our planet remains a vibrant tapestry of life for generations to come. The choice is ours. Let us choose wisely.